As you can see, we are in another location here, Civitavecchia. We did not film, we had a long day. I mentioned that a little bit later. We pretty much just walked around, checked into our hotel, ate this great dinner. First Italian food here in Civitavecchia. Wow. And as you probably heard, I sounded like I was sick because I was a little sick. Here's a great shot from our veranda, which we did not film our hotel room, but I recommend the Riviera Suites. Here's my Italian national citizen there, walking around Civitavecchia, shopping. Alright, we're here on the MSC World Europa in the World Promenade, which is kind of like this big open boardwalk area. It spans 12 decks, 11 decks, from deck 8 to 20, but there's missing one deck, because 17 is not on the ship because of superstition with European cultures. But we have an excursion today in Palermo, Sicily, right behind me here. Beautiful port of Palermo. We're excited to get off. It's a little nippy outside, but it's going to warm up to the 60s, so I am in shorts, ready to be comfortable. And we have not filmed a lot up until this point. This is kind of a gap because we've been exhausted. We had a big travel day. The airline lost our luggage. We walked countless miles and a few little mishaps, but we're here, we're excited, and we are on the MSC World Europa, MSC's largest ship to date. So join us in Palermo. Let's go. So we left the World Europa on our excursion in Palermo, which took us around the historic city and mainly to a few historic churches. We are on our way to the first, which is the Monreale Cathedral. It is very important to the people of Sicily. They started building it in 1172 and it was completed in 1267, and it's in the Norman Gothic Renaissance Baroque style. Right now we are walking towards it, but also going to this overlook to get a good view of the city down below as we are up on a ridge. Fast walk. It was really beautiful here in Palermo. It really gave the feeling of a Mediterranean. It was sunny in the high 60s at sometimes, you know, warm enough to not even have a jacket on. Perfect weather. So we are winding our way through the smaller streets. They get like really small, even like alleyways. And we see even more churches along the way. Places of note, which I cannot remember, but stunning architecture, ancient streets on our way to Monreale Cathedral. Now I am kind of doing a voiceover in this video as I did not talk much this day as I felt under the weather, and we had a very large group and I didn't want to talk in the churches, so I kind of talked here and there or whenever I could. And right now this is just us walking and looking at the amazing mosaics kind of in these old buildings. Just stunning, very stunning. We are making our way towards the Monreale kind of plaza that it sits in, and there's the bell tower right there. And here we are, we walked around to the other side, and here's the plaza, kind of like a little square that it's on one side, and there's a fountain. This was our meeting point after we explored and we had some free time left over. I don't really know the story much about this, but it was beautiful in this Baroque style, which is basically a lot of mosaic. And it's gilded in a lot of gold leaf. Like there was gold leaf everywhere, even down below here in places where you could touch. And of course gold leaf is not that expensive in small amounts, but when you think about how much they put into this structure, it's amazing. It's truly gilded if you look closely. Everything was shining. And for being such an ancient structure, it really was still inspiring. I felt really silent and still in this place. I was amazed by it all. It just invokes a godliness in you, a place of worship. These are, I believe, the original doors, and I believe they have been repaired somewhat, but they were massive, massive. You do not enter through that side anymore, though, and I think it's only used for ceremonies. There's a coat of arms, and there's different things. There's, of course, the confession box, I believe. I'm not quite sure, actually. I do not read Latin, but that looks like that's the date something was put there. Whether it's a burial place or the place, the foundation of this place. That area in there, what you would call that, I don't know what you would call that, the cornice or the dome, Jesus there, it was really amazing to see up close. We couldn't get super close, as right there, that was kind of in the way, the area where they do ceremonies, but it was so amazing to see this place. And it reminded me of a ship, like the underside of a ship, if you kind of look up, an ancient ship. It looked very surreal. It was definitely giving me Indiana Jones vibes for sure. We are walking back to our coach, and we are going to drive and then go to another church, which I do not remember the name. There's a quick look at a fish market, which there was many open markets in Palermo. No need for an actual grocery store. I think people just pick up fresh items on their way home from work or school or whatever. Here's one of the city gates, the original ones. It was pretty interesting to look at. You could see they added structures to the top a little bit later, but those are still also ancient. And I forgot what they are dedicated to, but they have different faces and emotions. And very imposing gate, to say the least. Here we are walking by the Palace of Palermo, which is now more of a place of government business, government work, but those were the gardens. Here's a beautiful view of just a very Mediterranean, European bustling city, a pedestrian section actually. Every turn was just another square, another avenue with people like Giuseppe Garibaldi. I think that's a very important person with the formation of Palermo, because I did hear his name and see his name in a few places around the city. There's an alleyway. We did see vehicles coming down those little streets. It was very movie-like. Here's the front entrance of the second church, and it was stunning inside as well, but it was not my favorite if I had to pick. It had a lot of damage, I believe, at one point, or the art, the frescoes, the art, the murals were destroyed at some point. There is some original, but a lot of the big works you see on the ceiling have been redone by a more modern artist, or an artist nowadays. That is not the Illuminati eye, that is the eye of God, she told us, our tour guide. It was beautiful in its own right. It was very, at first I thought, symmetrical, but when upon closer look, everything was so different. It was balanced out, but there was just stuff going on everywhere. You could sit in there and look at all the carvings, the mosaics, everything. It was cool, very cool. I recommend them. And I think that one was free to go into. There's some street arts, street mural. There's a market we went to a little bit later. We walked down and got some arancinis, which were very good, stuff with meat. And it's one of their local specialities. And then I also tried a local, basically like a cannoli, but it was not called that. Cannolo maybe? I'm gonna be quiet here because there was live music here. This was one of my favorite parts of my whole trip in the Mediterranean. Was this one square, and it's not really a square. It's an intersection, but it's mainly foot traffic. And each side is flanked by these towering buildings with sculptures and fountains. I forgot the name. 4 corners, 4 fountains. But this guy here, this group, they were just jamming away. It was amazing. I love that. It was awesome. Here's a very old fountain that was not running, but you can see some of the art around it, the sculptures. We weren't allowed to go up to it. It is fenced, walled off. As you can see, we magically teleported back to the ship, and we are looking out of our balcony. I saw these people rowing, which I found that very interesting, and my mind thinks I can do that, but I don't think I could do it for as long as they do. It's a very relaxing thing to do, though. And now we are going on the World Europa's dry slide. Yes, I am going. The weight limit is 400 pounds, so I am well within that. And we got to see the sun drop behind the mountains as we waited our turn. It is free to ride the slide, but look at that view of Palermo, Sicily. The Sicilian mountains in the background and the sun setting. It was a very beautiful day. So I am getting on Venom Drop, which is a dry slide, which means there is no water. I'm in a sack, and don't judge me. I will say the first 10 feet was scary, but after that it kind of got really slow, and I didn't even get all the way out, as you see. Neither did Brittany, but she enjoyed it as well. Here we are, even though we have a balcony. This is the very aft of ship on deck 8, the World Promenade. It was a very interesting view. It's like a portal between the towering rooms and the other decks above it, the opening here. And it was a very different vantage point to watch sail away from the complete aft of the ship. And there's the Palermo cruise terminal, which is not even finished being constructed, but it's pretty much 99% done. Here's a quick time lapse of us kind of turning around before we pull out. So first dinner in the buffet, actually. Quinoa salad, Greek, I don't remember what it was, pasta with olives. This is sweet potatoes and tofu, stewed cabbage, more veggies, cheese, chicken with a sweet chili sauce on top, and a glass of wine from the automated thing. You put your card under and it pours it. We are up here on the terrace level of El Pescaderia, is I believe the place, the fish, the seafood, and we're overlooking the World Promenade, and we are getting ready to see the light show of the palms, the palm light show at 8 p.m. here. It lasts for 5 minutes, and that's how we're going to close out the night, so stay tuned. So we are about 2 minutes out from the show, and it's starting to get really bright out here, as you can see. So this light show, in my opinion, it was neat to see, but it was a little underwhelming. I will say it was good music. I can't play it because of course it's copyrighted, but it was titanium like I mentioned in the title there. The lights were amazing, but I felt like they could have even put more along the balconies there horizontally. Maybe that would bother the people who were in there though. Maybe not, you know, I just think there could have been a little bit more, but it was neat and it was something free, so it's included. There's no extra charge, and we of course have this great spot to watch it, which I recommend, which is above La Pescaderia. There's a free terrace, which you don't really have to get anything there to eat to go up there. It's a real quiet spot, and it's a great people watching spot, and of course to watch stuff like this. And that's where we pretty much spent the evening after we sailed away. We did go up to the buffet, which is a quick hop in those elevators right there on either side. They go all the way right up to the buffet. But overall, this was a great day. I am feeling better, and I am sorry for not recording our travel day from London into Rome and then to Civitavecchia, into our hotel, and then the evening there, and then waking up, and then our walk, our very long walk, which do not walk to the port of Civitavecchia unless you have a backpack. That's great. Everything else, it's a lot of bumpy roads. It's not really pedestrian friendly. Sorry again, we were both kind of, you know, a little under the weather and the stress of losing the bag and then missing our train, but you know, it all worked out, and I do recommend going. Just make sure to try to not check a bag on Swiss Airways. Sorry. Good night. That was it. They played one song by Sia, which I could not include that. Actually, Titanium by David Guetta, with Sia doing the vocals. But it was synced with the lights, and it was great. And now it's time for some hot chips from the Pescaderia restaurant, the seafood restaurant. We got fish and chips.
Come on.
No, it's like giving me the weirdest.
Come across it.
Someone's telling me not to do it.
Really?
Let me start.
Oh my gosh.
That way my arms. Oh my god, this looks so because it gets so clear, I can't, my brain. It is trippy, I don't like it. Someone's coming behind me.
Oh my gosh. You're so brave. I can't even go across the black part.
It's weird to see it. The
Yeah.
black part's metal.
I know, but even that messes me up. Because it's like walking a, you know?
It just looks like it's delaminating from the metal. Like, doesn't it look like when water gets underneath something?
Oh yeah.
Like pockets of air? Or like,
Oh, right here.
I'm like, why is this?
Oh my god. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you can, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to see more. Bye!